that they've gone ahead to play against a team known as Leeds. And that means that on match day, you expect the following videos. One, you do expect what we call the match day live, where we really bring you the starting 11s and so on and so forth, match reaction, player ratings, and the manager's reaction. I think that's been really lacking into our daily broadcast when there is a game. So we've gone ahead to add it on, and it will help us obviously discuss more about these games, because we'll be coming live and obviously speaking to you after those games in there for you. I had to come by the way late in the night, but I really had lots of stories caught up on a different channel that I really work on, and I was like, let me try to obviously come in early morning, half an hour mark for us. I think it will be enough to discuss the best of the best for this. Arsenal were back to winning ways. That is yesterday. And they went ahead to really annihilate a team known as Leeds at home. Arteta was a happy man, and this is what he had to say about the victory that they went ahead to obviously get at the Elland Road. He said, very, very happy, obviously. A very impressive performance, a very impressive result, and in context that we would have done it. When you have the difficulty of the game and the opponent that Arsenal is facing with their recent form and style of play that they have at the moment and the energy that the stadium brings, then the fact that after 3 results that didn't go our way in the league, we really wanted to show how much we wanted it. And I think we've certainly done that today. Obviously, Arsenal had gone 3 games without registering a win against Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, and Man United. And they are really looking bad. And it couldn't obviously make perfect sense for them to obviously show that they are still title competitors. Because if they had collected just 2 more points, in one of those games, against Man United or against a team known as Nottingham, Arsenal would have gone ahead to find themselves in a position of being 9 points clear ahead of Man City before City got into this game. And there are games to win. There were games to win. I think that game of Nottingham, I think it was really a very huge backslide into them. But knowing what Nottingham Forest is, if you are that person who has been following up on Nottingham, you know exactly what they bring up the field of play. But he hinted onto what the stadium was going ahead to bring for them as Leeds. They had gone, I think, like 5-6 games without being beaten at that stadium of theirs. So Elland Road was very vibrant, and it was buzzing that Arsenal had to really do the needful. And I told you that the moment in which they scored that goal was really very crucial, because if they went 4 more minutes to get into the half-hour mark without Arsenal scoring any goal, that would have gone ahead to really be bad news for Arsenal, because the manager was going to tell them, please, let's hold on to that and see to it that we go to halftime when it's 0-0 and we see what the second half will obviously offer. But the win was really very important for the club of Arsenal, and it really gave them hope. And they are back to winning ways, definitely. So that is Mikel Arteta and what he went ahead to say after Arsenal went ahead to obviously come back to winning ways and really put out a very beautiful fight in this particular encounter. Leeds United was really doing the needful in there for you. So from there, Arteta also was asked on how it felt, seeing Arsenal getting back to winning ways. Arteta was asked, and this is what he had to say about Arsenal getting back to winning ways. Arteta said, the mentality is good, and to play with that level of enjoyment about where we are, and then with a conviction to believe in what we do and how good we are, and that we can beat any opponent. And we certainly have done that. But then you have to show the quality as well in this league to do it. And it came out in great ways from different players as well. Now, the biggest dagger that Arsenal has in their hand to obviously hurt and kill off games is having the even distribution of goals. When you look at that starting 11 for the club of Arsenal, I think now every player is going to have to bag himself a goal, apart from David Raya, who is a goalkeeper. You know, talk of Julian Timber, Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Carafiori, Zubimendi now took his tally to 4 yesterday. Odegaard, Declan Rice, Saka, Trossard, and Gyökeres. Now, getting off from the starting 11 for the club of Arsenal, we get exactly to what we call the bench. Martinelli has a goal. Jesus has a goal. Eze has a goal. Noni Madueke has a goal. I think Mosquera hasn't scored. Pioli Hincapi hasn't scored. But it shows you that they really do have some good goals in there for you. And that is the team I would love to have. And that is the killer instinct that I would love to have and threaten my opponents. Because if you want to threaten your opponents, all you have to do is you go ahead and have no specific player that is expected to score you goals. Let everyone be a threat. So, by so doing, Arteta has said, and it came out in great ways from different players as well. So, Arsenal has been doing this, and this even distribution of goals is really helping them to do the needful, as their forward line is really firing up, because yesterday, 2 of their number 9s came up and obviously scored. Gyökeres was on target, and guess what? The other player on target was Gabriel Jesus, who came off the bench. And that means they also had assists from Gabriel Martinelli, a forward, and Noni Madueke, a forward, meaning that it was full force, all involved into this beautiful big game, and it really meant a lot. So he hinted onto the mentality that it's good. By the way, you needed your players to be in the right mentality to obviously come back from that mind shock they've been getting in the previous 2 games. Because, previous 3 games, you saw to it that they were playing in the midweek and also playing on the weekend as a club of Arsenal. And in the midweek, they've been winning. They beat Chelsea, they beat Inter Milan, they beat Kairat. But on those particular weekends, after winning in the midweek, they went ahead to obviously draw with Nottingham. They lost to Man United, and they found themselves also drawing with Liverpool. So that is really very, very bad for the club of Arsenal. But getting back to winning ways, obviously, that mentality has to be given a very huge tick in there, as the manager is really talking about that. You need to have the quality as well to obviously coming through and do the needful. Those combinations and factors are really very important for anyone who has known this game of football for some time, that you need to step up to the expectations as a club of Arsenal. And this is when they go ahead to start their winning run. And I think their run is obviously gonna go for some good games. I see that, and it's really written all over the wall that they will obviously continue to win their games, as they play Sunderland next at the Emirates, a game that I believe they'll obviously win. And watch the space today. Man City is playing our Tottenham Hotspur, and then also a club known as Man City will play away at Liverpool. Remember, Arsenal came up and obviously played 4 away games in different competitions. Premier League, I think there were 2. They had to play away at Chelsea. They had to play away at Inter Milan. You get? And that's when they went ahead to host Man United in there. So, we wait and see how things will pan out for this club of Arsenal. But Arteta had something to say about that. Now, on playing Kai Havertz in the midfield, let me see whether his explanation really matches with mine that I really made when I saw to it that he has been started ahead of Martin Odegaard. The manager says, because of the type of the game I expected and how aggressive and direct they've been recently, I believe that the game was going to allow us more space, and the temperature will come down in the second or third part of the game. And that's what we could have changed again with different qualities in the team. So when you hear him explain like that, you buy his idea that he knew to it that Kai Havertz would be the best person to first destroy that midfield because his physical attributes to the game are really better than those of Martin Odegaard, and his height is really great, and he's also having a very good skill set. So you really understand that he expected a battle in the midfield. That's why he went ahead to obviously put in another towering lad in Kai Havertz, who is really physical and can obviously fight for the ball, alongside Declan Rice and Martin Zubimendi. So that was his game plan. And obviously, you cannot rule out that he also did this because the player had gone ahead to perform very well in the number 10 position when they're really playing against Kairat in the middle of the week. Though Kairat and Leeds are two different opponents altogether, but having Kai Havertz coming in through, giving you some good minutes in there for you, it really helped the manager in really getting to where he wants to be and those levels where he felt like he was supposed to be as a manager for the club of Arsenal. And he talked about he believed that the game was going to allow us more space in there. Obviously, Leeds is a team that will obviously not park the bus. That's why you saw to it that at the end of the game, Leeds had close to 56% of the ball possession, and Arsenal had 44 in there. And when you look at the average passing accuracy for Leeds, it's really way above the ordinary. And the manager went ahead to obviously see how they planned, was like, let me first get in Kai Havertz, and when I get him on, then he will do the needful. But it's a big plus for Arsenal as a team, because if you're really having Kai Havertz in there and his dynamism, it really speaks volumes to the club of Arsenal and what they think they're supposed to be doing right into the summer, as who will come in through and who will leave. Because stories will obviously say Kai Havertz is leaving, so and so is leaving, but it's really hard to really let these players go in the names of Kai Havertz because of his dynamism. And his return is a big boost to the club of Arsenal because it means a lot. It really means a lot, as now you are really creating competition amongst him and Odegaard and Ebelechi Eze. That is really great for this club of Arsenal. And they really have a very beautiful squad that if you don't admit that they do have the best squad in the world, then you are just deluded, as these are facts that you have to obviously ascertain too, as they will come with lots of truth. Now, from the guy known as Kai Havertz starting, the manager went ahead to take off Kai Havertz and brought on Martin Odegaard. This is the manager's explanation on Odegaard's performance. He said, so happy with the way he reacted, but in general, the team and obviously certain individuals, it's normal. The opinions, the noise is part of that. What we can control is that we can do, how much we want it, and trying to get the best out of our players and the team in every moment. The rest is not possible, and we will have to be judged on that because there is nothing else that we can do apart from giving our best. So the manager of Arsenal came up and really said that about Martin Odegaard. Odegaard came in through and was involved in the third and fourth goal. For the third goal, he registered the secondary assist, and for the fourth goal to Gabriel Jesus, he registered a very beautiful assist as a player. And he's a number 10 that many like him. And what do they like a lot about him? It's his technical abilities and his flair, being flamboyant on the field of play. But for me, what I like about him is his game control. I went ahead to see people put out videos why they had benched him and brought on Kai Havertz, that he overcarries the ball when Gyökeres really makes a run. And I was like, I challenge you to get me more videos. Why do you get just one video of a situation, you know? And I can also get you a video of Kai Havertz playing as a 10 instead of releasing his number 9 or the person leading the line, he continued to obviously carry on to that ball. So what will you tell him also? So each and every time people come out and really put out such allegations, those are really bad. I think the person that really went ahead to hit the nail on its top, was it Patrick Vieira? Someone, an Arsenal legend, came out and really said that Odegaard plays so much deep. Played so much deep. But I think there's an interest of the manager, because he doesn't want him to play into those positions, as he wants him to get deep into the areas of the midfield, carry that ball because he has that potential, attract bodies to him, and such that he creates space to Martin Odegaard and Martinelli maybe. To Bukayo Saka, Noni Madueke, or Martinelli maybe, because the manager knows to it that Saka is not good at 1v1s and obviously trying to take off players, and he knows it really very, very, very well. So I don't want to hear people say what they think about Martin Odegaard, and the guy is good. He's really good. He's one of the best number 10s in the world, and in the Premier League, him, Bruno Fernandes, Kyle Palmer, I think no one comes next to them, because they are really great. He went ahead to register his 4th assist of the season, but remember, he was really on and off. And every time he had tried to register up his form, he has gone ahead to obviously have problems, get involved into what he has been doing. Arteta also was asked on this guy contributing off the bench, and this was his reaction. It's not about players' positions being safe. It's that the role can change, because the game has different needs and we play every 3 days. The fact that you can contribute and help the team to win from different angles, I think it's a great thing to understand. It's not so easy for certain players, but Martin Odegaard and the rest have certainly done that today. Obviously, it's not easy for Martin Odegaard to be benched for 2 consecutive games as your captain, but I think the best reaction is you coming off the bench and obviously putting out a show, because the manager of Arsenal went ahead to obviously do the needful to really bench the guy, because he knew to it that there are levels that he's supposed to be playing at that he's not meeting. And to me, I really appreciate him, because for any manager, you would want to know how you can get the best from those players that you think are really the best of the best, So, and that is exactly what he has gone ahead to do as a manager. And I remember people like Sir Alex Ferguson used to do that. You remember games where Wayne Rooney was taken off the pitch and he went ahead to kick bottles, and even kick the seats of the dugout, You understand? So, I tell you, every manager has to know how to trigger his players to obviously get to the levels they want, because that comfortability of being safe in a position won't take a team anywhere, because few football players will obviously have that self-motivation and self-urge to come up and obviously fight like they have no competitor. That's why if a team is to make it in life, they need to be having 2 players competing in one position in there. Like you saw in the midweek, Kai Havertz came off the bench. Kai Havertz started, got involved in 3 goals, 2 assists and 1 goal. Against Leeds, he starts because he put out a very huge show. Now, Martin Odegaard was one of those that went ahead to obviously get benched. When he came off the bench, he went ahead and showed the manager that I deserve all the rights to start in this game, or in the game against Chelsea in the midweek in the Carabao Cup. And I think he has gone ahead to bulk his starting position in that particular fixture. Not so? So guys, that is it for Martin Odegaard, but it really shows you how Arteta has gone ahead to obviously send a message to every player that you are not safe. And even if you are my captain, that doesn't mean that you are going to start every game if you don't put out the best onto the field of play. And I think in the situation where he is, this is what he should use to obviously revamp these players to winning ways in there. Arteta on Madueke and Martinelli. All right. He said, that's only possible if players Arteta on Madeke and Martinelli stepping up. That's all impossible if those players are with the right mindset. We talked before the game that it's going to be a long game. We are going to have to navigate through different moments. We are going to need everybody fulfilling their role, and that they have on the day. And I think players executed that incredibly well. So, Arteta and his boys did the needful. For Noni Madueke and Martinelli, Noni Madueke came in through after Bukayo Saka went ahead to obviously get an injury. Then he contributed 2 goals in the first half. Taken off, Martinelli was brought on. And guess what Martinelli went ahead to do? Martinelli put out a very big show with an assist that saw Gyökeres net his 6th Premier League goal of the season in there. All his debut season at Arsenal. What a player. What a performance. And it all goes back to that mindset that the manager is really talking about. Because for any football player, you have to value every minute that your manager really gives you. That is it. Because look at Gabriel Jesus. Being out for so long has told him that he has to fight for his position to get back into the starting 11 of Arsenal, because they went ahead to sign a number 9 because of his absentia in the previous 3 seasons that he has been playing at Arsenal. So you have to understand the situation, and you understand the assignment that is really ahead of you. For the club of Arsenal, these players really have the mindset. Martinelli and Jesus came off the bench and got a goal contribution each. So that is what makes this team hard, because a team having a bench of Martinelli, Jesus, Ebelechi Eze, my dear, those players can be at any other big team and obviously be commanding in starting positions. Not so? So that is it. Lastly, the manager talked about Arsenal on the defensive stability. This is what he had to say about Arsenal's defensive stability. He said, it's something that we want. You always have an opponent in front of you that is going to test that, and you have to execute the actions and be very, very consistent. You don't want to concede anything, and I'm really impressed because it's really tough team to restrict them to do that. Between all of us, we've done it. So, Arteta wins as a team and loses as a team. Another clean sheet kept with a win, and it all went down to that defense line in there for you. But every time they really have that back line that has Raya in goal, Timber right back, Carafiori left back, Saliba right-sided centre-back, and Gabriel Magalhaes left-sided centre-back, my dear, they're really solid, and they all go in for that in there. So that is it for the club of Arsenal, and their managers come up and obviously reacted about it. I have someone in the comment section. He goes by names of Red Skull. Kropi is player I think Arsenal should sign. Who is Kropi? I have to obviously look out for him and really come back and really give you feedback. But thank you very much for watching through. This is the Rokani Media Football Early Kickstarter Live, bringing you what the manager Mikel Arteta had to say about this convincing win for the club of Arsenal at the Elland Road that really went ahead to happen yesterday. Thank you very much. Liverpool beat Newcastle by 4-1, and they are back to the winning ways, and they're really doing needful to obviously try to chase up for these positions in there. For remember, if United wins today, they get back to the position that they're supposed to be. So Arsenal is top on the Premier League table with 53 points and 14 games to go. That means Arsenal still has more 52 points to collect. Yes, 14 times 3, that is 52. How many points will they collect as a club of Arsenal to obviously clinch that beautiful trophy in there for you? Good morning, Katulinde Susan. Good morning, how are you? And you've come in through at a time where I'm really putting this video to a stop. I don't know what your thoughts are about it, but you can as well go back and really rewatch the video, because we've gone ahead to speak a lot of sense Mikel Arteta's reaction to this particular fixture that saw Arsenal really win and get back to winning ways by beating a team that has looked very hard at their stadium. Red Skull, you think we beat Chelsea today, Tuesday? It might not be Arsenal beating Chelsea, but I think Arsenal is already in the final. All they need is a draw. And I don't see Chelsea coming in through at the Emirates and beating Arsenal. I don't see that happen. I think what Chelsea can do is forcing a draw, and Arsenal can beat them because Arsenal is really having a very beautiful squad. You know, shock has happened in football, but I think this season is for Arsenal. You know, I think by the end of Tuesday, as we head into Wednesday next week, Arsenal will be knowing who they'll be playing in the final, and the finalists will be known, because even on Wednesday, I think that's when Man City will play against Newcastle. And I think it's March 22nd. That's when that final will be played at Wembley, and they'll be marching to Wembley as a club of Arsenal. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. I sign out. Bye-bye, and see you when you see me. I love you. Good morning. Enjoy your Sunday. Charge up for the weekend, but there are big games to watch. Man City taking on Spurs. Brentford, I think, is hosting Aston Villa. Man United